My name is Sari Shaicovitch, and I'm a registered social worker in private practice in Toronto. I focus primarily on anxiety, depression, and infertility, and losses that pertain to fertility. I'm here today to give you a few tips on managing your feelings in these types of losses over the holiday season. At any time with fertility, we often feel overwhelmed and resentful of others who are happy, and we often feel out of control and in a state of limbo because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. And the holidays for a lot of people are already a difficult time to manage their emotion, whether it's parties, baby showers, surrounded by family that we may or may not want to see. And there's often an incessant need for people to ask us when we are going to start a family. This year in particular, because of the pandemic, people are feeling more and more alone and more feelings of isolation. So with the holidays coming up, even if they're virtual, most people will be seeing family and friends. And there's going to be internal pressure for us or for you guys who are going through your journeys of fertility to join these virtual get-togethers and meetings this year. So how can individuals and couples manage their feelings of their own losses while at the same time envying the success of those around them, hearing good news of families and cousins around them, and of other people's pregnancies, etc.? How are they able to navigate that? My goal today is to provide you all with a few tips to manage these situations, which are inevitable and as they pertain to your fertility journey. So what do we say when our family is asking us questions about when it's our turn or when are we going to start? It's going to come from grandma or from a great aunt or from somebody. What I recommend, tip number one, couples are able to role play with their partner, or if you're a single parent by choice, with your friend or family member on how best to answer questions. There's nothing more anxiety provoking than being caught off guard. So when you role play ahead of time, you can have certain answers to questions in the back of your mind to be able to give people when they ask you these questions, which are inevitably going to come. You can keep them simple and direct. You don't need to divulge any information that you or your partner is not interested in divulging and wanting to keep private. Tip number two, I would highly recommend that you plan your social calendar wisely. It's okay to say no to some invitations. Figure out exactly how much family togetherness and how many inappropriate questions you are really able to handle. And then decide which functions are most important to attend. You know, it's okay afterward to take time to plan for yourself after the get together because you're likely going to be triggered. So take some time after and regroup to process any unresolved feelings that may occur during these get-togethers. So don't plan any business meetings right after. Don't plan a get together with somebody else. Take time and do something for yourself, or just time to unwind. Tip number three, until you've been able to master the skills to deal with your emotional triggers, it's all right at certain times to avoid these triggers altogether. Now, as a therapist, I'm not a proponent of avoidance, and that is not what I'm suggesting here. And I propose the solution to my clients strictly as a temporary solution, because avoiding dealing with feelings serves no purpose other than to prolong the hurt. So you know yourself best. Listen to your gut. You know what's best for you. When I was going through my fertility journey, I found myself every time I went into a mall or a park, I would get triggered. And it finally occurred to me that I need to not do that at that moment, because every time I saw a pregnant woman or a stroller, I would be triggered. So I temporarily stopped going there. But I didn't stop going there forever. I stopped going there temporarily until I was able to more easily manage my emotions and the triggers for them. At this time, I was able to get back on the horse, or whatever that expression is, and be able to deal with the emotions that were elicited. Tip number four, always remember that your feelings are feelings and they are yours, and they're not for anyone else to judge you whether they are right or wrong. Give yourself permission to feel sad and deprived and anxious or depressed. It's okay not to be okay all of the time. And we all go through a time where we're not functioning at 100% capacity. This might be yours. Infertility in general is emotionally difficult, and you're entitled to feel what you feel. So don't let anyone tell you not to feel that way, and allow yourself permission to take care of yourself. By doing that, you're practicing self-care. And so what does that mean? I advise clients to plan ahead of time different tasks or activities that make them feel good. I have them write them down, put them in a shoebox, put them in a jar. So when you're emotionally triggered and you can't necessarily think straight, pull something out of the jar and do it. Whether it's calling a friend, turning on a comic that you've been watching on YouTube that always makes you laugh, taking a bath, going for a walk with your dogs, whatever it is that makes you feel good, pull it out of the hat and figure out what to do to help yourself. This also includes getting off social media when you are likely to be triggered, especially at holiday time when everyone is posting pictures and videos of their families and their children and their matching pajama parties and all of that. Things can get really difficult for you. Tip number 5, as much as possible, surround yourself with people who make you feel comfortable. Ask for what you need and for support. Now, by support, it doesn't mean that everyone around you needs to necessarily understand what you're going through or agree with the decisions that you're making, but they can support you nonetheless. Those are the types of people you want to be around. And this is hard on the holidays because sometimes we're around people who don't necessarily support us and trigger us as well. So within those moments, try and find some peace, some moments of hope, some periods of contentment within that struggle that you're facing. It's all right to be sad and envious all at the same time. It's also all right to excuse yourself from a Zoom call to go and cry and take a moment for yourself. So if you need to walk away, then do it. If you need to cry a little, so be it. And if you need to skip an event, then go for it. Do what you need to do. Hopefully something I said today will resonate with you and be relatable. If there's any tip that you wish to discuss in more detail than I provided today, please feel free to get in touch so we can delve in a little deeper. I wish you all a safe and healthy holiday season.